he met with me and all my girlfriends, and we just started grilling him with questions like girls
Oh
do
my
if they all
gosh.
get together with the only guy there. And he passed the
I mean,
freaking test.
hold on. He passed the test, but like, Katie, low key, you kind of are the worst dater. You flaken
Ever,
her before. You
ever.
you
No, because
drunkenly text someone to show.
we're
I mean, you know it was meant to be, and that he really you must have charmed him, or it was really meant to be.
Loverly presents The Wedding Podcast, a show for those on the road to I Do. From relationship advice to wedding planning tips, we break it down. I'm your host, Kelly Khalil, bride-to-be and the founder of Loverly, a DIY wedding planning platform. Over the years, we've helped tens of thousands of couples get down the aisle. And now that it's my turn, I'm not holding back. I'm bringing in my besties, wedding pros, and some brides-to-be you may know to talk through everything from picking the perfect venue to mastering your relationship. It's time to plan smarter so you can focus on the happily ever after. You've got the ring, we've got the rest. This week on the podcast, we are sitting down with bride-to-be, fitness coach, and creator of her own fitness app, Katie Austin. We talk all about loving the people that you work with on your wedding day, her engagement session, her wedding planning story, and she dishes on her experience as Sports Illustrated Swimsuit Rookie of the Year. Let's get into it. Hi, Katie. Welcome to the podcast.
Hi, how are you?
I'm so good. I just recently saw one of your YouTube videos where you were doing a Q&A on all things wedding planning. And I must say, I am excited to have this conversation because I can very much relate to your thoughts and excitement and also what you thought you were going to be like as a bride to be. So I'm excited to chat all things weddings with you.
Yay, thank you for having me. Yeah, I feel like I said in my YouTube video too, it just got exciting. I truly have never really pictured my wedding day, to be honest. Like I know that my fiance is the one, but I've never really pictured myself in a wedding dress. I didn't know what I wanted. Honestly, I don't know anything about weddings. And so I think like the first few months were a little bit overwhelming because there's so much.
So
And
many options.
so many options. And I'm like, how am I supposed to know anything what I want? And I think that I just don't want to put too much pressure on it and take it step by step. And it just became really exciting and really fun. And just like researching more and knowing what I want. It's been really awesome.
So I can't wait to hear all about your wedding planning journey. You're going to have to tell us all about the meet cute story with your fiance and how the relationship kind of unfolded. But I want you to
Yes.
first kind of walk us through and the Loverly audience through kind of your background, how you got into being a content creator, got into fitness, because now you have an app and you have a pretty massive following online of people who come to you for not just fitness, but food and a lot of kind of, I would say, inspiration, or is fitspiration what you call it? I mean, I'll let you kind of share.
So being an athlete my entire life, I played Division I lacrosse at USC. I played tennis. I played lacrosse. I played a lot of sports my entire life. So working out was kind of always, second nature to me. And not only that, but my mom actually had her own TV show for 26 years, Getting Fit with Denise Austin, every single morning on Lifetime and then ESPN. And so my first workout video was when I was 7 years old. It's called Fit
Wow.
Kids. And I've been in commercials since I was literally at the womb. My first magazine cover was when I was like 6 months old. My first commercial was like 6 weeks old. I'm literally not kidding. So I've really been in the fitness industry for a long time, but now doing it really in my own right. I graduated college. I became a sports host on Fox Sports West for about 3 years. And I knew I always loved fitness, but I never knew it could be such a substantial career, if that makes sense.
Mhm.
When you're so passionate about something, you're like, okay, well, then I actually have to have a job, right?
Mhm.
So I feel really lucky that I've combined my passion of fitness as my career now, and doing, my workout videos on the Katie Austin app now with thousands of community members on it, and doing my workouts daily. And on top of that, too, making healthy recipes to go along with it, because I truly believe that food is fuel, and how nourish your body is probably more important than moving your body. And so
Mhm.
combining the two to really feel your best self is really, really important. So it's been really, really fun to kind of evolve and just go through so many different paths in my life to get to where I am today. But it's been so fun. And I think a lot of people think, like, right off the bat, who my mom is, it feels a very obvious career path for me. But I took a lot of different steps to get here. So it actually wasn't as obvious as you think it is.
It's so interesting because there has been an emergence in with social media and technology catching up, um, of almost a new type of workout class that's emerged, that it's based, people are basing their workout style based on the teacher, right? And that they are building their whole practice all around, like, oh, I identify with Katie, her vibe, how she, what your specific philosophy is around working out, exercising, all of that. And that ends up being more of a motivating factor for people to working out, rather than like, oh, it's this specific type of workout, right?
I agree. Yeah. And I think, it's so funny you say that. It's like how it's emerging. And, everyone during 2020 was like, oh, home workouts are emerging. I'm like, well, look at my mom. I'm sorry, but like, look at Jane Fonda, look at the OGs. It's like you could have done any type of workout class, but people worked out with my mom every day because they loved her. And I think that's also what makes me so like lucky, is because, you can just look up online. Like now, like chat GPT and AI can tell you what workouts to do. And
Totally.
so that's the
And there's a
craziest part.
million on YouTube,
There's
free
a
little
million.
workouts.
And so you
Yeah.
have to love the person you're working out with. And, I do believe that there's space for every single person, because there's just so many people in the world. But at the same time, like, I think that, my audience really resonates with me because I feel like a friend to them. It's not,
Mhm.
almost sometimes I feel like, within the fitness industry, you can be disheartened and be like, oh my God, I really want to look like her. I really want to be her. I feel like my whole brand is more like, I just want to be her friend. Right. And that's what I try to come across as, like, something relatable and something that you can actually, accomplish, whether it's just 10 minutes, whether it's 15 minutes, how much it can really change your mindset. And my whole brand is really not about weight loss or like calories or meal plans. It's really about like food inspiration. Like, what are you feeling in that moment? Here's some ingredients that you can kind of base what you're, feeling. And then here's the meal that can go along with it as well.
So I'm curious, what percentage of your audience, now that you're in this kind of wedding planning moment or season in your life, do you have a lot of your app users and community that are, targeting fitness goals for a specific event, like maybe a wedding or a a vacation or something like that?
Absolutely. Yeah. I also, I always consider, I'm in my 20s and I'm 29 now. So I always consider myself like the college girl, or like if you're still in your dorm room. And then when I like got engaged, everyone was like, oh my gosh, I'm getting married too. I can't wait. I was like, oh my gosh, I didn't realize that, like, it's so cute that my followers are coming along my next step with me, because, I've been doing this now for so long. And so to kind of evolve not only as myself, but with my followers, and with my audience in terms of their goals and everything, has been really, really cool. I am going to do a really fun bridal program, but not till 2024. I'm excited. And it's also the bridal program and any training for any event. Like when I trained for SI swimsuit, it was really just to go into it feeling my most confident and best self and feeling most like me. It wasn't really about like shedding pounds or like, shredding for the wedding. It's not like that. It's let's go into this day feeling our best self and just glowing.
So real quick, there was a casual little mention there of the SI shoot. What we're talking about, or what she's talking about, is Sports Illustrated. You were the rookie of the year. What do they call it?
Yes. So I was rookie of the year in 2022, which is so cool because the last rookies of the year were like iconic, truly. So to be in the category is just amazing. And I actually won with my best friend, Kristen Harper. I won Swim Search with her. So there's 22,000 girls who auditioned. Kristen and I actually won, and we're best friends. And then we won Rookie of the Year together. It's just so cool. And I think every time I even say it in interviews, it's just like, what the heck is my life? It's really wild. But I tried out since 2017. So I really made sure that I didn't give up after the first no.
Wow, that's incredible. Congratulations. And I
Thank
know when I
you.
was scanning your Instagram, of course, that was one of the things that I was like, oh my gosh, this girl, she's been not only hustling, but she's doing it in all different ways. So I want to hear all about switching gears into wedding planning mode. But first, starting out with what you do publicly share about your fiance. Give us the whole story, how you met. Um, did you know right away? Did you hate
I've
him right
been so
away?
much more public since I've gotten engaged. I'll tell you
Okay,
that.
because now you know it's for real. You're like, okay, now I can come out and talk about them. Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
So I actually, it's so funny. I didn't even like tag him. I don't know if I think I mentioned his name like maybe a couple
He's not
times.
tagged. I tried to deep dive on social, and there was, I mean, maybe you tagged a few times, but there was not a lot of tagging.
And I did not tag him once before we got engaged at all. So I kept it a little bit private, like what he did for work and all those types of things. And then actually when we got engaged, like they found his name and they found like his job and everything like that. I was like, okay, I guess I can be more public if it's on the internet. So I kind of liked being private too. It was kind of like our like special thing. I don't
For
know. It was
sure.
because I'm so public on social media with everything that I do that it was nice to keep something private for a little while. And he is so not a public person. He doesn't really do social media, which is really good for me. But we actually met on a dating app. It's called The
Which one?
League.
Oh, you met on
The
the
League.
league. Amanda
Yes.
Bradford, the founder, is a good friend of mine.
Oh my gosh.
And
Yeah. It was
in fact,
so
there's been a couple other guests on the Leverly podcast who also met on the league.
Well, thank you to Amanda for really, helping it out right there. But we matched, and then he realized that we have a mutual friend because I think it was like connected to my Instagram or my Instagram was on it. And so he reached out to my mutual friend and he asked, I guess, for my number. She texted me being like, "Is this okay?" And I was like, "You know what? Sure, why not?" And he asked me on a date. I canceled about an hour before.
No.
Yes.
I mean, if
Yes.
someone canceled on me an hour before, I would lose their number. I would
And
never talk to them again.
he said that he was like never gonna go out with me again. He was like, "All right, bye." And the next day, I got a little bit tipsy. I was at a bar with like six girlfriends. And I lived in West Hollywood at the time, and he lived in Venice, California. So kind of far, and I never
It's
really
long
came to.
distance in LA. If you're
Yeah,
listening and you don't know Los Angeles, that's called an East Side, West Side situation. You're in central LA. Venice is like a whole different country.
it really is. And I was never over on the west side, like near Venice. And so I texted him when I was at the bar with all my girlfriends, being like, "I think I'm at a bar near you if you want to come." And apparently he was like not even gonna reply because he was like, "This girl literally canceled on me
Yeah.
an hour before like our date. I was already basically on my way." And his best friend and his roommate was like, just you can walk to this bar, why don't you just go?
Yeah.
And so he met with me and all my girlfriends, and we just started grilling him with questions like girls
Oh
do
my
if they all
gosh.
get together with the only guy there. And he passed the
I mean,
freaking test.
hold on. He passed the test, but like, Katie, low key, you kind of are the worst dater. You flake an
Ever,
hour before. You
ever.
you
No, because
drunkenly text someone to show. I
horrible.
mean, you know it was meant to be, and that he really. You must have charmed him, or it was really meant to be because
I will say I didn't date people before. Like me going on a first date scares me unbelievably. And so like I think I was just nervous and I was like, I can't do this. What am I doing? Like I'm not gonna go sit and have dinner with someone. Also, mind you, it's like my 25-year-old like a little crazy self of like
yeah,
I'm not
early
wasting a
20s.
I'm not
Yeah,
wasting a Friday night with this guy. I'm gonna go party with my friends. Like,
yeah.
what am I doing? So the next day, we just had a lot of questions for him, and he passed the test. We just grilled him, and he was so sweet and so cute. And honestly, I kind of like invited him there, being like, "This is gonna be funny." Like Horrible. I sound like a horrible
Again,
person.
you're a bad dater. You're mean. I'm just kidding, but seriously,
I'm coming off so mean, and I'm really not meaning to be. I think I don't
I'm
know.
totally teasing
I,
you.
like as
I've
I
done
said,
way worse things, especially in my 20s.
but as soon as he got there, I was like right away when I greeted him at the bar, I literally was like, "Oh, oh my god, oh my gosh, you are perfect, and I already
Oh,
really really like you," because he was just so sweet. Even how someone like hugs you when they first meet you, you can
mm,
just see, like I just like felt like his energy, and he was just incredible, and we never really spent a day apart after that.
wow.
Yeah.
So, can you just clarify what was the reason you actually flaked that first night? Was it because you had like anxiety about it? You were nervous, or
Date. I never like maybe a few times went on like a first date with somebody, but I was in two really long-term relationships. I had a 6-year boyfriend,
oh
and
wow,
then I had a year and a half, like literally back to back. And to be fully honest with you, I just was like, I want to be my crazy girl era. I don't
hmm,
want to settle down. Like have never been single, never, still to this day, I've had like a one night stand. So like I just wanted that like craziness. And I was
hmm.
like, I'm not settling down right now. And obviously, it always happens when you're least expecting it.
So sweet. So you're 25 at the time that you meet him. How long are you dating for? And how soon after were you
Yeah.
like, okay, this is it?
So we moved in after a year, and then because with COVID, it just like made sense. Even dating someone for like 6 years before, obviously we were a lot younger, but like with COVID too, it just speeds everything up. Like we quarantined together, so it just made sense. And then after a little like over 2.5 years, he proposed.
Hmm.
So it happened. I mean, like sooner than I would have been thinking, to be honest, but we just knew. I mean, he's perfect for me, and he just understands me. There's just something different about being so comfortable with him, and
Hmm.
he just gets me in the best
So,
way.
walk me through the proposal. Did you talk about getting engaged? Did you discuss a style of ring? Did you ring shop together? What was that whole process?
Yeah, so I forget how it first came up. I mean, we've been to so many weddings together. That's like we just actually hit our 27th wedding together this
I
past
heard
weekend.
that you went to 17 last year.
Yeah, 27 in total since we've been together.
Oh my gosh.
It's so crazy. And then so after like, maybe the first 10, it starts to be like we start looking at each other like, oh, like one day, like,
Yep.
what's up, And from there, I think we tried on rings about 6 months before he proposed. And all I really told him is that I want either like circle ring or an oval ring. I don't even know the term still. And
Circle.
whatever. And I want like a
Round. Around brilliant.
rounds. And I want a thinner band with diamonds all around it. Um, and he really perfected it. He did an amazing job. He went to it's called Happy Jewelers,
Mhm.
and they really, really worked with him like in the best way. They
So he
actually
custom designed one with them.
custom, yes. This is
Amazing.
custom design. It even has like Lane and Katie and diamonds on the inside.
Oh, so
Can't
cute.
see it, but yeah, so it's really beautiful. But to be fully honest with you, I'm not a huge jewelry girl.
Mhm.
I don't really, I mean, I don't have earrings, as you can see. Like, I'm really not a
When
huge
you're
jewelry.
working out all the time, it's honestly it's hard
Yeah,
pulling it
it
on,
really,
taking it off, and they get gross pretty quickly.
yeah. So I've been like having to get used to this is it's a lot, but I love it. It's just freaking perfect. It's literally my dream ring, and I didn't even know it was.
So tell us about the proposal. Were you expecting it? Obviously, now you've talked about the ring, you told him what you want, you tried stuff on. So and you've talked about it that you guys want to be together, but like were you surprised at the proposal? What was it?
So somewhat. I think, I was really, really shocked about everything else. Like he surprised me with my best friends afterwards and the whole setup and everything. But the day before or 2 days before, kind of gave it away. He was like asking about like my outfits, like what I was gonna wear, and like he kind of was like acting a little bit different. And I was like, oh my gosh, this is like the first weekend we don't have like any plans. Like this, what's up?
Mhm.
But I didn't want to like
What
get
do
too
you mean asking about your outfits? Is that like a normal thing he would ask about?
absolutely not. He doesn't care what I wear. But I was we were like packing for Laguna for the weekend, so it's just like a just a small weekend trip, and I wasn't going to bring that many like clothes basically because it was just going to be a night in Laguna.
It's gonna be all
And
your athleisure.
literally like I was wearing like this type of outfit, right? And
Yeah,
he was
workout
like,
clothes.
I think you need to pack like another dress, maybe like a black or white one. And I'm like, what?
You're like,
Like,
that's very specific.
and so cute. He went shopping on the night before to get new pants. I feel like he can hear me right now. He's probably like telling people
Hey,
this.
Lane.
Yeah.
He wants to
And
pop on. He can give his POV. We're open for it.
so I was just getting really, really suspicious. And then the day of the proposal, I saw the ring box in his pants. So I was shocked until like 48 hours before, but I kind of got an idea about 2 days beforehand. But I didn't really say anything, obviously, because what are you going to say? I didn't even like tell my best friend, like, oh my God, I think he's proposing. So then when we got there, the actual setup of the proposal was like fully a surprise. 12 dozen white roses lined up on the beach. He got my Sports Illustrated swimsuit photographer or videographer there, which was just like amazing. So we had like, a team that I knew and he also knew so well shooting it, which was just so nice. And then spent the night by ourselves, went to a nice dinner. The next morning, he surprised me with all of our friends and family, took a party bus to Nobu. It was just unbelievable.
And this was all in Laguna, you said?
Yeah.
And that's where you're originally from, or he's from?
No, we are both not from Los Angeles. I'm from Virginia, and he is from like a town outside of Reno, Nevada.
So what was the Laguna? That was just like the weekend away?
That was the weekend away. That was
Wow.
the let's take a weekend and meet our two friends there. And so, yeah, when I started to think about it, I was like, this is not adding up.
So did your family fly in then, or are your parents local now?
Yep. So my parents are actually local, but like his parents flew in, and then his sister flew in. My best friends are like from the East Coast flew in. It was just so pleasant. It was also the first time really that a lot of my friends met his friends, just because they live in Nevada and my friends live on the East Coast. So it
Hmm.
was really really sweet having like all of our loved ones meet and get to know each other, spending a whole weekend with them. It was so pleasant and it really fulfilled me. Honestly, after the weekend, I was like, okay, we don't even need to have a wedding. Like, I'm
Oh
good.
my gosh. You're gonna have to send us all the photos and videos so we can link to them in the show notes and everyone can gawk
Yes,
and see and
crush it.
enjoy. So sweet. So how long ago was that?
That was the first weekend of April. So he did it March 31st because my mom was gonna literally. My mom doesn't like April Fool's Day to propose.
Yeah,
So
no.
I know. It was yeah.
That would have been traumatizing if he proposed. You're like, is this real? I feel
Yeah.
like that's the one day you're not allowed to propose.
I
Just
know, and that was the
that,
weekend. That was the weekend. My friends all surprised on April Fools, but I'm like, well, you're here, so
yes, it's real.
yeah, yeah.
Amazing. So now per your YouTube video I watched, you're now in the swing of planning. You've been trying on dresses. You're trying to figure out what your vibe is. Walk me through your planning process. How did you decide where you want to get married? And I heard you saying that you have had fantasies of eloping and having a micro wedding. So, where are you at today? What do you want to do for your big day?
And now, I think having a smaller wedding would be if you asked me this 6 months ago, I'd probably say like really small wedding, like 50 people, and I would know exactly like who those 50 people would be. But we both have so many best friends and family members. My family alone is 70 people, and I just really want my extended family to meet his extended family and all of my friends to meet and have that big moment. And it's going to be at my parents' backyard in Palm Springs. And
Mm.
so, we do have the capacity to have that bigger wedding because it's in their backyard. So we're deciding to go big, a little bit too big. It's really, it gives me, we were at a wedding this past weekend, and I just like I know I'm Sports Illustrated swimsuit model and I'm content creator, but anxiety of like everybody looking at me, like 285 people turning around and looking at me is like, I don't know if I can do that. But I'm excited for the party and I'm excited for like everything else. It's been really, really fun. I actually, right before this podcast, I said yes to the dress, which was really
Amazing.
fun. Like I got all my measurements taken, which was really, really fun. So it really is coming to life recently. And it's we're doing like a vintage Italian meets like black and white modern.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Palm Springs is a great destination for Los Angeles. Uh,
It
it's
is, yeah.
not that far, but it does feel like it's a little bit of a weekend away. And it's great for people flying in too. So, do you know what time of year you're going to do it?
Yes, it's going to be in May because, of course, we wanted it in April, which would have been perfect. But, Coachella and Stagecoach kind of rule the entire month of Palm
Yeah.
Springs in that area.
Yeah.
And then it gets too hot. And
Hmm.
so we really had like 1 month to do it. And we really wanted a spring wedding because just it feels fresher. It feels more like us. My fiance is extremely into football. And so May is perfect.
Amazing. It's beautiful that you're doing it at a family home. I had my engagement party at my dad's house. And I will say, while you still need to bring in a lot of things that people don't think about, right? Like
We didn't.
everything from you basically have to build an industrial kitchen, every
Yeah.
everything rentals. Like it's I wouldn't say it's the most cost effective way. Let's put it that way. Venue fees are the biggest chunk of it, but you make it up in rentals of what you need to bring in. So
Yeah, so that's what we didn't really understand. Now that we now we get it, but basically we thought we were saving a lot of money by doing it at my parents' house. We didn't realize we have to bring in, the dance floor, to bring in
bathrooms,
the bathrooms, the kitchens.
yeah,
There's so many things that
power,
it's just a blank canvas of grass, and
yeah,
so there's nothing and just there's no structure.
yeah,
And my parents don't want anyone like going to the bathroom in the house because there's going to be
of course.
hundreds of people. So we really didn't
And the
realize.
fancy porta potties are expensive, FYI. You want the pretty ones. Like, I don't want to call them porta potties because they're actually not even porta potties. They're like these beautiful trailers that are used on movies. They have like marble on the inside, but like, I think they're like $2,000 each at a
No,
minimum.
the prices are really they're crushing me.
Yeah.
So we're finding ways around it, which has actually been kind of a creative way to do it. But I'm on a strict budget.
Mhm.
I shop a little bit more. I order my groceries or whatever. I'm on a strict budget because I am paying. Like my parents gave me a budget.
Mhm.
Anything over, I have to pay for.
Mhm.
Because I have a sister too, it has to be equal, which I completely understand. And so we're on a tight one this year.
It First of all, that's amazing that your parents gave you a set budget because I know one of the biggest sources of anxiety when parents are contributing or someone is contributing to the wedding, if you don't know what you're working with, it's almost impossible to make decisions, right? And I always find like when I'm talking to people, it's like, oh yeah, my parents are paying for the wedding. I'm like, okay, great. Like how much? Well, I don't know. They're just,
I
just send me
fully
bills. And it becomes an issue because then people are not on the same page.
I didn't
And
that. I literally didn't even think about that. It's so funny because I just right away, right when I got engaged, I asked my parents, I'm like, okay, what's my budget? They don't also they did not realize how expensive weddings are. I don't think they
yeah,
gave me a budget, and then you start getting quotes back, and you're like, that pays for 1/8 of what I was thinking. And
it's like,
so
that's our flower budget. Thank you.
literally, I'm like, okay, cool. But no, it's honestly been really fun. And I'm actually like, I feel really proud to pay for some of the stuff because if it's something luxurious more that I want to feel a part of it. My parents are already gifting me the venue space. So it's like I want to pay for it. Like I'm paying for my hair and makeup. I'm paying for, if I'm doing a dress change, I'm paying for that extra dress. I'm paying actually for the videographer, anything over, my parents' budget for the photographer, I'm paying. So I'm paying basically half. So it feels really good. And I know a lot of brides can't also do that. But I'm taking just, a few more jobs this year to be able to do it.
I mean, you got to do what you got to do, and I feel you on the cutting of expenses on the things that you spend money on that you're like, do I really need my groceries delivered? I can go pick that up and save that like $30 because you're like trying to pull it all together. Girl, plan a wedding, great. Get a house, let me just tell you, money pit, ongoing money pit. At least the wedding has like an expiration date of like after this date you're not going to continue to spend.
Well,
And
that's
I
the
did it out of order. I did the house first. I still haven't planned my wedding.
Oh my gosh, seriously? I think the opposite though, because the house, it feels so worth it. And
Oh, it
going back,
definitely is worth it. It's worth
right,
it on the house for
back
sure.
and forth of like, is the wedding worth it? I think hurts because it's like, okay, it's one day. This sounds
Mhm.
so crazy to be spending that amount of money in one day. So I've had a hard time like wrapping my head around it, because it's truly just a commitment between like my husband and I. And
Yeah.
so I'm like, why is it this much money? But I know it only happens once, and I've heard it is worth it. So I'm excited.
Yeah. So I agree with everything you're saying. And I will say that had I done things in a little bit of a different order, we got engaged and then 5 months later, we bought our house.
Oh my,
So what happened? Yeah. So and we'd been together for like 5 years. So and our house was a total fixer upper, and my fiance is a contractor. So he does it himself, but he also brings in his crew. So our house
and
had been a,
you?
what'd you say?
And you bought the house in LA?
No, no, no. We're in upstate New York.
Oh, okay, okay, cool,
Uh-uh.
cool.
No. LA, yeah, that would have been a
Right.
different situation. Yeah, an LA house a little bit more pricey than living in the woods in upstate New York. Um, but honestly, had we not bought the house, right, and gone straight to wedding planning, I would be probably, first of all, I would have had a wedding because I've now been engaged for 3.5 years.
And now
And
you're
my
having
exactly. Exactly. We're doing things out of order here at Loverly. We are
but that
very on brand.
but no, but that is literally, I love that so much because it's like that's exactly how I see weddings. Like nothing has to be done in the traditional way. Do it how you want. Do your wedding how you want. Do it in the order. Like no, there's no rules when it comes to love.
Exactly. And that's one of our philosophies at Loverly. It's like the rules of wedding planning have changed. There are no rules. And um, you know, so we did things out of order. We bought the house. We were like, oh, we're gonna have our wedding in September 2023. And then we're like, oh, just kidding. We're having a baby in October of 2023. So now my fitspiration for my wedding is and I know
Yeah.
I'm gonna get like in trouble for saying this, but it's the comeback. Do you know what I mean? It's the motivation to get into a beautiful
I don't
gown and
get in trouble for saying that because you can do whatever you want with your body, right? That's my entire thing about body positivity, is doing what you want with your body.
I think that your body and your mind are so connected, and that to be able to have a healthy mindset for me, physically moving my body is really, really important. And I also agree, equally as important, what you put in your body, like what you're eating. Um, I think it impacts your mood, it impacts your self esteem, it
Absolutely.
hits everything.
Absolutely. I couldn't agree more.
So going back to the wedding, you got your dress, you have your photographer, you have your venue. Did you end up hiring a planner to help you, or how are you managing the logistics?
I actually did. We did a lot of the big parts ourselves, actually. But we have a planner, and we had our big conference call actually just this week to kind of like piece it together and timeline it out. There's so much a part of it, and I applaud every person who doesn't do the wedding planner route because like kudos to you guys for able to like handle it all. There's just
Logistics are crazy.
they're crazy,
Yeah.
crazy.
I mean, we try on Leverly to provide as many free resources and tools as possible, like give you checklists, gives you run of shows, give you things that you need to manage because it's like almost death by a million paper cuts if you are not an organized person, if you've never done it before, if you've never been in event production. You don't know what you don't know, and
I'm
that's why a
so,
planner is there.
I'm so unorganized in that way. Also, like I'm so career focused that I
Mhm.
just can't really focus on, all those little things.
Yeah, it's a full-time job. And look, you don't have to go full-blown planner. There are so many different options. You can get a day of coordinator. You can get someone who
Yeah,
steps in 3 to 4 months before. But I highly recommend, I say it probably on every podcast, like get someone who's a professional who knows how to manage day of stress. Because that is the thing that that people need to know. Something is always going to go off plan. Like that is just the nature of life, right? And having someone who can manage that for you and
totally.
also manage like if you need to know about it or don't need to know about it, really, really important and very helpful.
That's a
Um,
smart tip.
yeah. I mean, sometimes you don't want to know. You don't need to know.
That's
So,
so interesting you say that because it's like, why would you say that to the bride when she's just gonna now have anxiety about it when it's like a toilet's broken? Okay, maybe the bride doesn't need to know. Like, let's just keep
no,
it.
no, definitely not. I mean, at my engagement party, when we had received all of the rentals like 3 days before, my bad, I went through and I accepted them because I happened to be there and I like, oh yeah, check the box or whatever. And when the planner the morning of was going through and taking an inventory, she was like, Kelly, did you check the size of the dinner plates? And I was like, they looked normal to me, but apparently they were like mini plates. So like the actual dinner plates were like tiny little, like we didn't have real plates
Oh no.
for like 125 people. So it was handled. I think we ended up going to like, I want to say, I think maybe it was like Kohl's or whatever was like the department store. And we just bought 125 white plates that we used for, and it was completely on me. I didn't know what I was looking for. I was like so excited.
Well,
Like, all the rentals are here. Yep.
yeah.
That box looks
Oh my
right.
God.
So yeah. So yeah, I mean, and of course I had to be notified because that was the one that like signed. They're like, "Kelly, is this what you signed?" I was like, "Yeah." I was like, "Oh crap, I made a boo boo." Overly excited. So things always go wrong, but like it's all handleable. It's like, and that's where a planner can really come in. She's like, "Oh, don't worry, we got this. We'll handle it. We'll solve it." So ended up being a beautiful event, regardless. Um, okay, so I have some rapid fire questions for you that you can say. They don't have to be necessarily for your wedding, but your opinion on certain trends and things that you're seeing.
Okay, great. Let's do
Okay.
it.
Multiple dress changes.
Love.
Love. And when I say multiple, I mean not just like a second look, I'm talking maybe even a third look. Like how much do we love it?
Well, I really like it because like I think that all of us brides have so many different personality types and every different personality type we want to embody and make sure we like touch upon. And why not? It's your day to be extra and your day to do whatever the F you want. So like do it if you want to.
Love it. Okay. One of the biggest trends right now, champagne towers, martini towers, espresso martini towers. How are you feeling about that?
I think they're beautiful. I don't know if I'm gonna do a tower, but I'm definitely gonna do espresso martinis.
Are you going to do a signature cocktail? Is that going to be your
Yes. We might not do signature cocktails. We might just do like featured cocktails, if that makes sense. Like all of our cocktails that we've had all over like our travels and like feature our favorite ones.
love that? How are you feeling about a photo booth or a video booth?
I love a photo booth. I like the mirror ones.
That's what I had at my engagement party. They're so
Oh,
chic.
your engagement party sounds like a wedding.
I'll tap it in here. It basically, my friends literally were like, "Was that the wedding?" And I was like, "Good enough."
Oh my gosh.
I did have 3 looks at the engagement party. It
Stop. Stop. Oh my
was a
God.
situation. It was, yes.
Amazing. Wow.
Okay, what's the food situation? Are you into a self-serve kind of like buffet style station or a sit down kind of formal?
Sit down family style.
Love
That's
that.
how I was raised, in a big family, very Italian-esque. We're Croatian, so it's near Italy.
Hmm.
think Italian, but a big family, and 50 of us passing around plates, and that's how you really get to talk to people and get to know people. It's like, hey, pass me that. What's your name again? Like, we
Mhm.
want people to be really family, and also we want people to eat well.
Mhm.
I've been at a lot of weddings where it's plated dinner and you can't get more on your plate, and I'm starving. Like
Mhm.
I eat a lot, and a tiny piece of chicken and like this much mashed potato I'm gonna be wasted.
Yeah. You and my dad would be best friends. After the engagement party, I invited him onto the podcast because my dad it was the father of the bride episode because my dad was very involved in the planning of the engagement, and the number one thing was the food for him. And he had like a 10-minute dialogue on how he's been to many weddings because all of his friends' kids are getting married. And he was like, the worst thing is when they deliver chicken and you have to bring a hammer to like crack it to because like it's hard to produce food for big groups and serve it all at the same time.
Absolutely. And I know how, it's so expensive too. I mean, it's a lot, but I think having your guests feel satisfied and
Mhm.
not feeling starving. And with like
Mhm.
a lot of these weddings are like in the middle of nowhere, so you can't like get food.
Yep.
So one of the huge things I want to make sure my guests feel fed.
What about desserts? Are you into a traditional cake? Are you doing different
Yeah.
desserts?
I don't know yet. That's a good question. No idea.
Some ideas. You can have ice cream sundae stations, cookie bars,
Well, I
donut
know what we're doing.
walls.
I do know one thing that we're doing.
What's
Um,
that?
I'm like, how much do I want to
Do you
say?
want to share? Do you not? You don't have to share.
I'm not going to share yet because we just decided it on 2 days ago, and it's so cute.
Okay. Well, you don't have to share, but I will say when I have my wedding, I will have a churro bar because I freaking
Ooh.
love churros and I just want everyone to have a churro. So
Okay, I'll
that's
say
on
it.
my wish list.
I feel like a weirdo for not saying it. We're gonna do like a really, really cute Italian gelato stand.
Oh, that's so cute. I love that. I feel like I just bullied you into it. I'm sorry.
It's like don't. It's like who cares? I'm not as important enough to like hold something in. You know what I mean? Like
But also, the flavors will be a surprise. So you can curate your flavors and no one will know. Okay. What about late night snacks? Are you into that?
absolutely. Oh my gosh, weddings that have late night snacks are like, thank you, Lord, I'm starving. Yes, we're probably gonna do like mini burgers, little French fries, chicken tenders are my favorite.
What about like an after party or a next day party, like a Sunday brunch? How do you feel about that?
We're doing both.
Okay. Look, girl, you're doing it all. This is going to be a banging wedding. It's going to be fire. I'm so into.
You have no idea. We are doing,
Are you
oh god,
doing video and photo? You're doing both. Yes.
yeah. We're doing, I sound just so extra, but I'm giving all my friends and family the option to, you don't have to come to everything. And I truly mean that because I understand like what we're asking of people. So Thursday is, like pool party and golfing for the guys, and then rehearsal dinner at night. Friday, we're doing the welcome party. Saturday,
Mhm.
the wedding, and then Sunday brunch.
It's a whole weekend. I mean, when people come to a destination, I think that's the most fun when you can make it a whole weekend. Everyone gets to know each other. They have the most fun. And by the end, it's like your family and from both sides are now like
Yeah, and that's
fused.
what we were thinking too, because when I went to the East Coast weddings, they did it that style a lot. And when you fly across the country, you actually have to fly on that Thursday, just because you can't fly on that Friday. It's like it takes up so much time. And all my family and friends are East Coast, and so for them to come and get a whole vacation out of it, it's going to be nice.
It's going to be so special. Okay, last question. Band, DJ, or both? Girl, you and I mean, I feel you. I was the same way. I was like, I need that. I had
Anything
not
else?
just a photo booth, the mirror, but I had the 360 video.
If this is your engagement party, I don't even want to know what your wedding is going to be like.
I mean, to be honest, that's why it's been delayed because I was really I have a
Watch
lot
your
of
yeah.
I have a lot of big ideas. Let's just put it that way. Rightfully so. I've been in this industry for 10 years. I started Loverly a long time ago. I've seen so much inspiration and, I want to bring it to life. But I have like 10 ideas of weddings in my my mind, and I was getting really narrowed on a location and a time frame, and that was
Yeah,
really helping to cultivate like, okay, what the vibe was going to be. But
it's hard.
now
But
it's
now
all, yeah, exactly. Now we're gonna reset and rewind, and we'll see what the trends are in 2024.
Oh, I
So
love it though. And why not do whatever you want? That is one thing though, like because of having both the DJ and the band, it's another thing that I'm helping out to pay for.
yeah. Well, people don't realize how much live entertainment is. It can be really pricey. And I know it's hard. I had a friend who had like a 14 person band,
Oh my God.
and they were like shocked. They were like, oh my gosh, it was so expensive. And I was like, well, you're literally putting on a mini concert. So what are
Yeah.
you thinking about? You have like, yeah.
Travel of like, we have a 12-person band, I think.
Mhm.
And so the travel of every single person and putting them up as well and their equipment is like, that's
Yeah,
also a lot.
it's hard. Well, I cannot wait to see this wedding. You're going to have to send us the photos so we can share when you're ready. We'll do a full feature, and then we'll invite you back to talk about all the things you loved and the things that you really loved. And
Cast it right now and see what I actually did. Like,
exactly. Well, you still have time. You may
yeah.
be changing your mind, and that's the journey of the wedding planning journey
Yeah.
you're on.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for having me. I appreciate it.
For sure. And I cannot wait to see this wedding come to life.
Me too.
Thanks for tuning in to this episode. If you've enjoyed this podcast and want more inspiration and guidance, check out our new and improved wedding planning platform at loverly.com, where we offer free wedding planning tools and advice to get you hitched without a hitch. And don't forget to follow us on Instagram and TikTok at Loverly. Happy planning!